So Xiaomi just dropped their Christmas present a couple days ago, and I've got the Xiaomi 17 Ultra right here in my hands. And guys, this thing is wild. We're talking about a phone with a literal 1-inch camera sensor, a 200 megapixel periscope zoom that can continuously zoom optically. So let's unbox this beast and see what all the hype is about. Alright, so I've got the standard Xiaomi 17 Ultra here. The box is pretty premium feeling. Inside we've got a transparent clear phone case, SIM ejector tool, some paperwork, 100-watt charging brick. I guess that's enough power. USB-A to USB-C charging cable. And last but not least, the Xiaomi 17 Ultra in Starry Green color, which by the way looks absolutely gorgeous in person. The design looks very similar to the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, but still very minimal design as you'd expect from a flagship. That camera module is huge. Now let's talk about the body design. The frame is made of aluminum. Feels really solid and premium. You've got your power button and volume buttons, but this time the volume buttons are retro round style. Really unique touch from Xiaomi. On top and the right side are pretty clean. No buttons or ports there, but there's actually an IR blaster built into the camera module, so you can control your TV, air conditioner and other appliances. Down at the bottom, we have stereo speakers, the USB-C charging port and the SIM tray where you can use 2 SIM cards together. Pretty standard stuff. In the hand, it feels pretty good. Slim body, not too heavy. I actually weighed it myself and it's about 227 grams. It's 8.29 millimeters thick. That's actually thinner than the previous Ultra. Feels well balanced and comfortable to hold despite that massive camera bump. Xiaomi made some major changes this year. First thing you'll notice, they went with a flat display. The 17 Ultra has moved away from those curved edges and it's a 6.9-inch LTPO AMOLED panel. It's protected by Xiaomi's Dragon Crystal Glass 3.0. It feels way more practical. The specs say this thing hits 3500 nits peak brightness, and I believe it because using it outdoors is no problem whatsoever. It supports 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, and get this, 1920Hz PWM dimming for eye comfort. If you're sensitive to PWM flicker, that's a huge deal. And it's got Dolby Vision, HDR10+, and HDR Vivid support. Netflix, YouTube, everything looks absolutely stunning on this display. The colors pop, blacks are perfectly deep as you'd expect from AMOLED, and the viewing angles are perfect. Under the hood, we've got the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. That's the latest and greatest from Qualcomm on a 3nm process. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. My unit has 12 GB of LPDDR5X RAM, which you can expand virtually, and 512 GB of UFS 4.1 storage. Sadly, there's no microSD card slot. This runs Android 16 with Xiaomi HyperOS 3 on top. It's pretty feature-packed. There are tons of customization options, gesture controls, and Xiaomi's added some interesting ecosystem features. Apparently, you can mirror and control Apple devices like iPhones and iPads directly from this phone, which is wild for cross-platform compatibility. So before running an AnTuTu score test, I cooled the phone down to room temperature, closed all the background apps. The battery was at 80% at 1917 and the temperature was sitting at about 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. Perfect baseline conditions, and the Xiaomi 17 Ultra scored 3,374,000 points. That's absolutely insane. After the test finished at 1933, the battery dropped about 7% and the temperature reached between 37 to 39 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it does get warm under heavy load, but nothing concerning. That's about a 12 to 14 degree increase, which is pretty normal for this kind of stress test. battery life on this thing should be phenomenal because Xiaomi packed in a massive 6800 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. That's the largest battery they've ever put in an Ultra phone. You're getting 50-watt wireless charging, 22.5-watt reverse wired charging, and even 20-watt reverse wireless charging. So this thing can basically power your other devices too. This is what everyone's been waiting for, the camera system. Let me keep it simple and break down the specs first. The front camera is a 50 megapixel shooter for selfies, and it can record 4K video at both 30 and 60 frames per second. On the back, you've got a triple camera setup. The main camera is a 50 megapixel lens with a massive 1-inch sensor. The telephoto is a wild 200 megapixel camera offering around 3.2 to 4.3 times optical zoom. And then there's a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 115 degree field of view. That's the basic setup. Now let me show you some photo and video samples so you can see how it performs in real life. I'm recording this video on Xiaomi 17 Ultra from the front camera, which is 50 megapixel in 4K at 30 fps. And I have turned on the HDR so you can see the exposure. It's minimal than usual. And this is the results you get from the front camera. I'm walking slowly and now I'm running faster. So from the front camera you also have the option in 4K at 60 fps, but I'm recording at 30 fps. And while video recording you cannot zoom in. Now I'm recording this video on the Xiaomi 17 Ultra from the back camera, which is 50 megapixel main camera and also offers 200 megapixel. So this is 1x and I'm recording this video at in 4K at 30 fps. It also offers 4K 30 fps, 60 fps and 120 fps and also 8K 30 fps. So this is 1x. I'm walking slowly so you can see the result. And this is 0.6x. It's ultra wide. This is 1x. And this is 2x. This is 3.2x. And this is 90 millimeters. 4.3x, 8.6x, and then you can still zoom to 90, 20, 21, 23, 25, 30, 30x. Okay, let's try from this side. This is 0.6x, 1x, 2x, and then wow, 4.6x, 8x. Okay, maybe should see there. 30x. Wow, not shaky. Okay. how much is this thing gonna cost you? In China, the standard Xiaomi 17 Ultra starts at 6,999 yuan. That's roughly around 995 US dollars for the base model with 12 GB RAM and 512 GB storage. If you want more RAM and storage, the 16 GB RAM with 512 GB storage version costs a bit more, probably around 7,499 yuan. That's about $1,065. And for the top spec with 16 GB RAM and 1 TB of storage, you're looking at 8,499 yuan, which is roughly $1,200. Global launch is coming in 2026, probably January or February, based on how Xiaomi usually does things. Keep in mind, the global version might have some slight differences in specs. If you're a mobile photography enthusiast, this is probably the phone to get in 2026. Is it worth the premium over something like a S24 Ultra or Pixel 9 Pro? If photography is your priority, I'd say yes. If you just want a great all-around flagship and don't care about having the absolute best cameras, you might find better value elsewhere. But for what it is, a photography-focused ultra flagship, Xiaomi's absolutely nailed it. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future tech reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.